Welcome back to the Good Success Podcast. I am your host, Tom Olson, and today I've got a really new person in my network, Damon, with us, and I'm really excited to bring him to my audience today. We just kind of met not too long ago, and we're already kind of working on the deal together, and I kind of felt like what the product that he has to offer might be a really good benefit to our audience and to the listeners out there, and because some of us are really relationship driven, right? And some of us are more, we kind of like to stand behind the scenes or maybe a little bit more introverted, and finding a system in which we can just plug in and just kind of request a loan would be something good for a lot of you people out there. I know for certain people in my office, they're more apt to just want to create a relationship with somebody and want to be able to, get a loan that way and actually go and talk to a loan officer. But there's other people in my office that actually would just rather just send an email and get things like that. So I've got a friend of mine, Damon. He's from Kansas City, where it sounds like they're having a little bit of weather this morning. He said that he didn't even get to take or if he did take a shower, it was a cold shower this morning. But it's raining up here a little bit in Chicagoland, and not quite the tornado. But so Damon, welcome to the show, and just greet our guests real quick.
Well, Tom, it's great to be with you. I appreciate the opportunity to be on such a great podcast. And actually, I'm in the Springfield area, which is a little bit south of Kansas City, and we did have some major storms come through last night that got everybody out of bed and in their closets and basements. So, again, I appreciate being with you, tell you a little bit about loans and some of the cool things that we're doing.
Awesome. Well, before we get started, just a little bit about us. First of all, if you have not subscribed to the Good Success Podcast, I encourage you to go on to, SoundCloud, Stitcher, wherever you can find podcasts. The Good Success Podcast is on there. We even have an app that you can download on your phone. So if you go to Google, or you go to Android, or you go to iTunes, you can actually download the Good Success Podcast app. And whenever there's a new podcast, it'll just show up right on your phone and just be able to click it for the next podcast. So do that. If you're on iTunes, I really encourage you guys could really do me a favor and help us out quite a bit. Go on there, give us a 5-star review, and tell your friends and family about us. We'd love to hear your comments. We'd love to be able to hear what you guys have to say about the Good Success Podcast. Second of all, I have just completed this 30 Days to Good Success journey here. And it's really been something that I've put together over the last probably 10 or 15 years. It's been probably $500,000 worth of education that I've paid for, that I've gone to events, or I've been a part of masterminds or travel for the last 10 years, and or books that I've read. I've probably read about 300 or 400 books. That a lot of the knowledge that I've kind of come up with is summed it up into these 30 questions. And I actually believe you can do this in a 30-day process, where each day you kind of do chapter 1, and it's actually a workbook. It's not just a book, so you can actually write in here, and actually we'll have like different things to write, so question 14, what are your big goals in life? But it kind of goes through what are the most important things. And, I was learning that people that I was mentoring, or people that were coming to me asking questions, they wanted me to solve their problems, and they wanted me to give them a quick fix. And I kind of felt almost like a doctor that we sometimes call pill pushers, right? You go to a doctor, they give you a pill, you leave, and you think that it's all good. And unfortunately, there's too many people, I believe, in the real estate realm. There's too many people in other areas of life where they just really want to give you a magic pill. They think that if you just take this magic pill, everything's going to be solved. And for me, I didn't feel that it was good conscience. I didn't feel like it was good business. And you guys all know what I think about good success. It's the right person doing the right thing for the right reason, with the right people, for the right amount of time. And I couldn't be that right person. I couldn't, in good conscience, give somebody advice just on their little symptom and help fix the symptom without going to the root of the problem. And most of that is personal. Most of that is how do I view life? What is my purpose in life? And am I fulfilling that purpose? So my goal for you is, if you will just figure out what your purpose is in life, and figure out how you can end up reaching that potential in that purpose, and how you can end up living your life and leaving the true legacy that you really want to leave, not just money, not just fame, not just stuff that's going to be gone in the next 100 years, but a true legacy. That's what would be my goal for you to finish this, to start on your So we also have the mastermind coming up. If you are an elite entrepreneur, if you're somebody that you think that you're at that next level, but you've kind of hit a ceiling, maybe you have a small business, 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 people, and you just know you need to break through and make that leap to that next level. You've been in business for several years, and you just know you want to hang out with people like Eddie Wilson, who owns Think Realty and American Association of Private Lenders, and now is going to be speaking with across the country. People like Quincy Long, who owns Quest IRA, and people like that you want to have network with, and you want to get advice from those veterans that really know what they're doing. So if you want to add to your network, I highly recommend the Good Success Mastermind. You can go to goodsuccess.com/mastermind, fill out the application if you're interested in being a part of a mastermind group that's going to hold you accountable to the things that you say are most important, and is going to ask you every single quarter, what's going on in your business and how to help you. How can we help you? Then I highly recommend the Good Success Mastermind. It's not just for real estate, although a lot of the people that are in there are real estate. We are purpose-driven. We are a purpose-driven group of like-minded individuals that really do want to help you reach your potential in your purpose. So again, goodsuccessmastermind.com. Also, if you're local to Northwest Indiana, we have the Good Success. It's actually the Community Go-Giver Club, which is a local mastermind that we are really excited about. You can go to the website and find us out there. It's once a month, the last Saturday of every single month. So if you're in Northwest Indiana, you guys can just, get a hold of me. You guys can find me on Facebook if you don't know me, and just ask more questions about it, and I can get Dan. Or you can even just fill out the mastermind application, the general mastermind application, and then when Dan calls you, you guys can talk about that. So anyways, let's get back to our guest, Damon. I'm really excited to have you on today's show. Thank you so much for spending time with us and being able to give to our community. I know that there's going to be some good nuggets here, so I can't wait. So Damon, can you just briefly introduce yourself? Tell us what you do and where you do it at, and kind of how you got started. Just give us a little bit about your story.
Sure. My backstory is really, I've worked for many of the largest, banks and institutions in the world, and my skill really was building lending organizations. So for many years, I was raising a family, have 3 daughters and 5 grandkids, and during that time of raising the kids, I always felt like I wanted an entrepreneur and build a business for myself, but felt unsure about taking that leap. So some of the companies that I built lending platforms are folks like Citibank, GE Capital. I've worked for Fannie Mae in the past, and really worked for some of these top organizations, and really learned lending. And about 3 years ago, I decided to build my own company. The kids are grown. They're out of the house and have families of their own, most of them. And I decided, if not now, when, and decided to launch loanbids.com. So, and our company, which is called Investment Property Loan Exchange. So our company is really in that, when I came out of 35 years of lending, I decided, you know what? I really don't want all of the gunk associated with full end-to-end lending process. So much involved in building infrastructure and controls and that sort of thing that I decided, you know what, I just want to be on the part of the process that match investors with the very best lenders and the very best options. So, as I was planning this, I thought, okay, kind of builds in things that dating sites like Match.com do, along with other companies like LendingTree. And what we built, I think, is really special. And it is really a live auction style format that matches these real estate investors with the very best lender in the business. We have pretty much all the top private lenders and many banks and credit unions on our platform. And what we do is we act as the advocate for the real estate investor, because we know the inner workings of how all of these programs work, all of these private lenders work. And our job is to simply put that particular request for that particular real estate investor with the very best lenders. It's based upon the priorities of the real estate investor. some of those priorities vary. Sometimes they just want the very best rates and fees. Sometimes they the highest loan amount. Sometimes they want the lowest monthly payment. And our job is really to hear what the real estate investor wants, come back with a set of options for them, and enable them to see the details of those particular loan offers and help them with the selection process. So again, it's very interesting in that what occurs is on our platform loanbids.com is over a 72-hour period, the lenders on the platform actually see the real estate investor's loan. And over that particular period of time, almost like eBay, they are out there posting bids so that at the end of that period, they hope that their particular offer is the one selected real estate investor. So I don't think there's anything quite like it. And the other beautiful part about it is that with many of the platforms try to provide lending options, you wind up with the real estate investor's voicemail with 8, 10, 20 lenders trying to call them and sell them on their program. That doesn't happen with our platform. You have one direct point of contact with our company that does all that interaction with the lenders, and again, really works to get that best fit in the overall programs. And the other beautiful thing about what we do is we really reduce the paperwork hassle factor for our clients in that entire back office administrative team. And that team, once an investor selects the deal that they want to move forward with, we reach out to them, we help them craft the paperwork, and we act as the advocates for that real estate investor with the lender and make that that paperwork process as as simple as it can be, with an inherently paper-intensive process. So that's what we do.
So it's really cool. And I don't know if the audience caught all this. So I want to kind of review some of the key things that I'm hearing. So when people talk, I think one of the biggest weaknesses of our society, at least the United States, is that we just don't listen. We don't really go through and listen to what people say. And, part of one of the things that you said, during this whole thing is we listen to what every investor says when they put a loan on our platform. We're asking them these questions and we're trying to get, hey, what's most important to you? I can find you a lender that might be the cheapest rate, but it also might have the highest qualifications. I can give you a lender that might have the lowest payment, but hey, it might be interest only. It might have to, there's a little give and take there. But the very first thing you said that caught my attention, and I kind of wanted to kind of bring more attention to it, is the comment that you said, hey, if not now, then when? Is that something that maybe you just came up with yourself, or did you hear that, or did somebody else kind of, breathe that belief into you? Or, I'm sure you're like a lot of people out there where they're like, I want to do this and I just need to be just enough secure to be able to maybe, like you said, not have my family involved, or kind of be past the point where I got to raise my kids. And now I feel like I have a little bit more margin in my life. So if it doesn't quite work out, I'm going to go and make it happen. But you said, hey, I'm going to make this happen. And there's many about you out there right now that probably are thinking that right now. I'm going to make this happen. But really, when are you going to do it? I've had a lot of people in the last year say, I'm going to join a mastermind. It almost sounds like you needed a mastermind through this whole thing, a group of people that are really going to hold you accountable and really push you to that next level. And a lot of times that mastermind is filled with people that have already been where you're going, and they know those pitfalls. They know those things that you might, fall into. But you kind of knew some of those operational things because you grew up in the bank. But hey, maybe there's a marketing issue, or maybe there's, how do I hire people? An HR thing that you might have needed help with. But so where did that statement come from? If not now, when?
Well, again, I'd been working for many of these institutions, and again, for over 30 years. And I had decided at the end of my last role as a builder, building a new platform, I decided, my kids are grown, they're out of the house right now, they're no longer on the payroll, and I have a little bit of margin here and a little bit of runway. to start this business. I come from a family of entrepreneurs. My father, really my brothers, and all have been self-employed their life, and it's just kind of something that I felt at some point in my life I wanted to build something for my own and have as you said, a legacy that I can pass on to my kids. And all my kids are involved in the business, which is outstanding, and they're doing great. And I see this as something that grow over the years. And when I'm ready to be done with, I'll have that legacy to be able to potentially pass down to my daughter and son-in-law and whatever other of my family members want to be a part of it, so that they can have a foundational business that can support families and support the families of our employees for years to come.
That's awesome. So again, like I'm sorry, I'm that person that's going to drill down. How you said, hey, if not now, when? So where did that thought come from? Like how did that is that something that you've been thinking about for a long time, or is it something where that was just kind of like your motivation? It sounds like that was your motivation statement, basically, that made you make that plunge.
It was. It was one of those. It was a difficult decision. And my wife, God love her, is very much into safety and that sort of thing. And when you start a business from scratch and that when you're used to making an income level up here, and for the first couple of years you got to lower your expectations while you're building this, because quite honestly, the first couple of years you're investing in growth and growing the business, and what's left over comes to you, and and you can pay your bills from that, but it's really a growing process. But it was that I really felt strong about, and we had a little bit of reserve set up to be able to create that runway to take off, it's been good. The business has been growing steadily. I think one of the key things that we've done is, we took a year and built out this LoanBids website. We really wanted to make it something special in the marketplace. And the other thing I think is important, that we try to do this and build this business without taking on debt. I know some people need to in order to fuel the growth. It's fine, but we've decided to grow this at a pace that is self-funding for the most part. And again, that was something that has worked out, and we continue to grow at % year over year, and we're excited about the future.
Awesome. So that was pretty cool. The second thing that I heard you in your story was kind of the fact that you're like, I don't really want to be a part of all of the whole process from start to finish, from finding somebody that wants to do a loan to the whole paperwork to the whole process. All I want to be is like, Match.com. I just want to be, the dating website that just matches up the lender with somebody. And that's really cool because if you guys all know me, I always say, be a conduit, not a bucket. Like everything's not all about me. And so I think it's two things. Number one, what you're doing is you're connecting investors or people that have money to people that need money. And you're trying to figure out what both their needs are. So it's not just knowing what the needs of the person that needs the money is, but also knowing what the needs and the wants of that bank in order to be able to, match up the best possible match. But I think in that, you also basically determine, hey, this is my business. This is what I'm really good at. This is what I know how to do. I'm trying to stay in my core genius, which is just the matchmaker. I'm not going to do the loan itself. I'm not doing the processing. I'm not going to, build this whole team of systems and having all this back checks and everything on the back end to make it happen. I'm going to build a business based on what my core genius is. So I thought that was something I definitely wanted to kind of bring out in this interview, because I thought it was really good. And then, so why do you do this? Like a lot of investors have like a bigger purpose. Do you have anything, other than, well, I mean, you said you wanted to leave a legacy. Is there a reason, a problem you're trying to solve, or is there something that you're trying to leave, or what are your big goals in this whole, loanbids.com?
Well, the loanbiz.com business is really, again, the conduit to be able to build and grow this particular business. As I said, one of the things that I've learned through these is that it's really important to be able to, as an employer, whether you're at a bank or that sort of thing, is to really provide a foundation. First of all, I think it's most important to take care of your employees, and to be able to make sure that they and their families are taken care of. With this particular business, this is something that I know, like, I'm relatively good at. This particular overall investment property lending is a fairly young industry. I mean, they're only about 6 or 7 years old, in that, some of the companies and some of the lenders really started catering to investment property buyers and owners in a different way. Again, back about 6 or 7 years ago, and this was a specialty that I was able to come across, and be able to leverage from my background, which again is building businesses. So the last company that I worked for, I built a lending platform, end to end, hired employees for sales, operations, underwriting, and as a part of that, I really looked to specialize in what we were doing, and that's why, as LoanBiz came out, I thought, how can we be different? How can we be that Match.com, that lending tree for investment property buyers and owners? Because nobody's really doing a good job of that right now, and the offers that are typically received through some of those platforms are pretty broad and sometimes vague, and ours are pretty precise and specific, and that's really what we're doing. And really, some of that creativity around is really, again, one in my core nature. Like I said, I built 7 lending platforms, and you got to think about a million different things, and you got to build a lot of different things, and you got to make sure that they all function properly. And that's really what background and what inspires me, in building out this particular platform.
Is to really just help the investor, get what they need. It's kind of a need in the market you're trying to fulfill.
It's right, because many of the investors really don't know. Maybe many of them have met with 1 or 2 lenders. Maybe they know of a couple, and they just talk to their friends and figure out what to go to. But a lot of times, lenders are constrained by their lending box. And if you go and you ask them for a particular loan, you get over the 20 hurdles of their lending programs. And if you trip over any one of those 20 hurdles, you're out. I'm sorry, I can't lend to you. Well, what we do is, since we have access to almost all the top programs, we can look ahead of time and work with the investor to understand where those hurdles might be. We call that their implication. And every deal that we come across has some implication. And what I mean by that is, maybe it's something about that deal that causes it to move toward a certain different lender program. For instance, if it's a rental loan and you've got tight cash flows, all the lenders have different standards on how they measure debt service coverage ratios and the cash flows on what will qualify. And what we have is that base of understanding, so that we don't waste our time or our clients' time in trying to fit a deal into a credit box that we know that won't fit. So because of that information availability that we have, we can quickly get through and weed out the ones that are obviously not choices, and we can hone in on the 2 or 3 options that the real estate investor can really zone in on and say, which of these 3 options do you like best? and we'll go forward with that, and we'll so
So
that is really what differentiates us.
Gotcha. So I've got several questions here. So first of all, can you just explain, where do your products kind of start and stop? I mean, do you guys go all the way up to kind of the Fannie Freddie, or is it kind of, I guess what I've experienced so far is just, it's not really hard money lending. It's not really bank lending. It's kind of that soft money, maybe in the middle, where these institutions have kind of, like you said, it's like these institution or these new banks have kind of gotten together and said, hey, I want to lend money in this space to investors. But it's kind of like just molding, and everybody has their own different programs that aren't like these standard Fannie programs with standard boxes. Everybody has like their own little box. So could you just start by giving us where that starts and that stops? Like a lot of my listeners use private money only. And I think, sometimes when you hear this private money, your world, because you came from Citibank and you came from like the big banks, your world of private money means, okay, institutional money that has a little less, a bigger box maybe, or a different box than what, Fannie Freddie might have. When my world of private lending comes into, I'm actually talking to an actual individual that has money in an IRA, or has like a lot of money saved up that has earned it over the years and is loaning money to. So there's like a big gamut of all the way from Fannie Freddie loans all the way to real private, people money. My understanding is your box is kind of in the middle, but just to kind of let me just explain to our audience where that starts and where that stops.
Okay. So really we have a broad product offering, but not quite as broad to what you just articulated. So our lenders on our platform are business lenders only. So not owner occupied, the Fannie Freddie owner occupied type loans. Our lenders can do short or long-term loans for single family, multifamily, mixed use, commercial, and including rehab and new construction in all of those areas. So it's pretty broad, and our lenders can go from what I would call A quality to asset-based quality. So we run the credit spectrum. We run pretty much the products for short and long-term loans for those particular types. So for instance, if you've got a multifamily property, we've got access to the actually multifamily programs with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. We've got SBA programs for clients who are owner-occupied, owners of their commercial space. We do a lot of blanket lending for investors who have, accumulated a lot of rental properties over the last 5-10 years, and even more recently. We've got individual long-term rental loans for, again, single family and multifamily. We've even got, fix and flip options, and even just straight bridge options with no rehab as well. It's a pretty broad spectrum. Our lenders are primarily private lenders. We do have some banks and credit unions on the platform, but it's primarily private money. And the majority of our deals that we facilitate require tax returns. We do have some lenders that will give you an option for a little bit better rate if you want to provide tax returns. Other ones, the majority of them base the long-term loans on the income from that rental that are collected from that particular specific properties. So again, pretty much your lender is on our platform. I will tell you that our company also, because we have so many lenders on our platform, we provide the industry their competitive survey. So what happens is many of those same private lenders subscribe to a service that we provide, which gives them access to the specifics of the products and programs of each other lender. And we publish that on a quarterly basis to the degree. So again, because we have such a depth of understanding of the programs, that's a byproduct. And many of these senior executives at these private lenders come to us on a quarterly basis and ask us to hold sessions with them to show them where they're missing the mark from a standpoint and where they're excelling. So that's nice for us because we get access to the senior executives at many of these lenders that our real estate investors are working with, and we have found that many of the recommendations that we've made to them have come to pass in their program improvements. So that's an additional benefit to the industry, not only to the lenders but also to the real estate investors.
All right. So again, let me just back up just a little bit for my audience, because I think my audience is used to hearing the term private lender as an individual with money. It still doesn't seem to me that that's the private lender that's on your platform. It's still more of an institutional person that has a box of guidelines that they're really trying to stick with. Is that correct? So I mean, it's not like you've got.
That's
Okay.
correct.
All right. So and it's not good or bad. Something I do actually believe that in every market there is a little bit of a different advantage or disadvantage to the different types of lenders. So you have lenders that are private that want double-digit returns. They want 10, 12% interest on their money. I mean, sometimes my first hard money lender that I used was 5 points and 18% interest, all the way up to Fannie Freddie loans that are like 4.5% or 4.25%. And we've even seen them as low as 3 and something, within the last couple of years. So you kind of have this huge broad spectrum. And I do believe that as an investor, if you're an investor for a long period of time, you need to know how to gain money from all the above. So all the way from the private money, all the way to this next level of private money, which is probably cheaper money, probably 8, 10, maybe even 6% type of money from the institutional people that have a little higher standard of qualifications. And then you kind of go into real, true, long-term or hard qualification bank lending. And I think everybody should know how to get all these loans, but we all have to have access to them. And I think that he's trying to bridge that gap. Something that you did bring up, and I kind of wanted to ask you this question because you've been in the lending world for a long time. And I always like to theorize and kind of just, pick people's brains that have been in businesses for a long time. And you've been in this lending space and the banking world for a long time. You said that this industry of private lenders, as you say, but to me, I kind of know them more as institutional, hard, soft, private type lending. Just started, this whole industry kind of just started about 6 years ago. And you said that now there's a need or a want for, this money to be able to get deployed in this fashion. Why do you think that is? And I know this is kind of a shooting from the hip question. You weren't expecting this. I didn't kind of give you this up front or anything, but, it really sparked my mind, and I'd like to know your answer. Like, why do you think this industry has been created?
I think, quite honestly, that a few years ago, when returns were very minuscule as they are today, if you were to go deploy some of your capital as an investor, whether you're investing, in Wall Street or you're investing, as private equity, I saw a period of time where investors did not really want to lock up their capital for a long period of time, but wanted a better than average return on it. So you saw a lot of private money flow into short-term fix and flip loans, which you still see that coming in, because honestly, what you'll see is that you can have your money tied up as an investor for 1 year and get a return, typically around 7-8% as an investor, which is pretty good for short-term money, as opposed to, putting it in a bank and getting, maybe 1% on that. So again, the capital started flowing toward that short-term money first of all, and then the market became comfortable with the rent, the non-owner occupied space, and capital started flowing towards it, even to the point where these investment prop loans are getting 30-year fixed treatment with many of the capital markets companies in New York that are buying large quantities of these loans and securitizing them, or many of the large lenders are doing it themselves. So folks like CoreVest and Finance of America and some of the others were the industry leaders in taking those rental loans, directly to Wall Street and securitizing them. So, as that comfortable feeling came about with the folks that had the capital, more money flowing into the market, and therefore a lot of lenders started getting added to the marketplace because the capital is available, and that really drives lending to a lot of the extent, when you get into the more institutional areas. So as you said correctly, typically the cost of a loan or the rates and fees associated with these more institutional private lenders is a little bit cheaper than you can find if you were to find a local private hard money lender. And in fix and flip, I would say the gap is not as great. A typical fix and flip lender between institutional private lenders, if they've got experience of 4+ deals in the last 24 months, is typically getting a rate between 8 and 10%, and typically around 2 to 3 points. If you're a client who is new to the process and you've never done a fix and flip loan before, institutional private lenders, you're probably looking at 10 to 12%, and again 2.5 to 3.5 points. And then for our long-term rental who are interested in that, the institutional money is cheap right now comparatively. It's not quite as cheap as to do a Fannie Freddie non-owner occupied loan, but we routinely have clients getting 5 to 6%, 30-year fixed money in the rental space. So it is it's a pretty good time. We spend a lot of our time doing refinances right now for our clients, getting them cash out of the properties that have gained in equity or that they're coming out of a flip and now have created some value in that particular property, and then giving them that comfort of a 30 loan and lots of cash flows for a long period.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm bringing Damon on just so everybody kind of knows, is I'm doing a deal with them right now. It's not closed, but everything so far seems to be going smooth. If anything, they're waiting for me because it's just hard sometimes to get everything in. But I'm actually in the middle of a deal right now. And if you guys want to follow up with me later to kind of know how that goes, you guys can definitely get with me. But so far, everything that I've seen from my end seems to be like they definitely know what they're doing. And just as kind of even a referral from me personally, I put a deal on there Friday night, and I think by Monday afternoon we had 7 different offers on that loan. So just to kind of give you a perspective of just my own personal, and he didn't know I was going to do this, so I'm not just doing this to blow smoke. But I definitely think it's worth you to look into. It definitely is real, and it's not just somebody out there. There's a lot of scammers out there that says, I'll loan you money for 5%. And if you hear that, it's a scammer to begin with. But there's too many people on LinkedIn and Facebook out there doing that. And I'm pleased and with the results that we have. Even doing like a hard loan, which I would consider a mixed use, kind of a harder loan to do. There was plenty of people that wanted to do that, and definitely seems to be pretty aggressive right now in that realm. So I definitely appreciate Damon for talking to me and for trying to make that happen for me. But I just figured, hey, if this can be a use to me, I'm sure that there's a bunch of other listeners that maybe could use this same product as well, and just kind of want to see how it goes and give it a shot. So you answered my question about, why do you think this industry has kind of started? I've got one more kind of hard question, and we'll kind of get into the wrap up questions. But what, and this sometimes is the hardest question for people to answer. Hopefully you've got a good story. You've got something that's really good here. But what has been the biggest challenge for you in your business? Because yes, you've been promoting your business. You've been telling everybody how you can help everybody. But now I kind of want to, do like a little bit of almost like a mini mastermind with you right now, but and just kind of let the audience know, what has been the hardest thing for you, or what's been the biggest challenge for you in this endeavor in your business?
I think that, the hardest part is really understand progression of how you move the business forward and continue to grow it. I think that, we were dedicated early on to kind of not take on a lot of debt and not try to over our skis and grow too fast. We wanted to really prove the concept first of all, because this is a little bit unique. So realistically, the website loanbids.com took us over a year and a lot of iterations to get that launched, because we wanted it to be precise and we wanted to provide specific offers. So we took over a year in building that. It's been in the marketplace now just over 90 days, and the results that we're getting to it is it's simple and easy to use and quick. And so we're excited about that. So from a difficulty standpoint, honestly, just wanting to understand how we grow from here. How we create awareness that the platform exists, how we continue to expand our lender basis so that we fill in any product gaps that we might have, and be able to make sure that, we do a great job in getting the best deal for the folks that come onto the platform. So that's really been our challenge is just really to try to understand what tomorrow looks like and what 2 years from looks like, and do we try to take this faster? Do we continue on our measured pace of growth, and again, how do we get better every day at what we're doing, and making sure that we're doing a great job service the clients that we have, and ensure that they become fans and come back again and again. We're seeing some great repeat clients come back again and again to us, and one of the things that we probably aren't that great at is selling and promoting ourselves. We've got we come from a mindset where, if a lot of our clients, when they talk to us, they say, you know what, you don't sound like a lot of the other lenders that call me to talk, try to fast talk to me and get me into something. You really are more consultative, and that's kind of big. I read a book not long ago, and as a part of it, it really portrayed the two aspects of the business that we really want to portray to our clients. And the first one is warmth, and the second. So if we can be in our initial discussions with a share that warmth so that they trust us and believe in us, and then follow that up with competence and the ability to do a great job for them, I think that's a winning strategy.
That's awesome. So I don't normally do this on the podcast, but I think it's definitely applicable, at least. So it sounds like the two biggest issues, number one, how do you keep it going? How do you create the momentum that's going to be able to keep going? And then it's almost like a struggle, because yes, you want to, it's almost like one of your core values is to do this debt free. But that's kind of like a box that you put yourself in, a non-negotiable, which I think is good to have those. And then kind of that struggle of, hey, do we do this on a slow scale still? Or now that we actually have the systems and processes set up, and now that it is a really good product that we've got ready to go, how do we scale this, but also scale this safely? And then you've got your warmth and competency as, again, like core values. I would tell you, and if you and I'm sure you've been in corporate for a long time, so they kind of have meeting structures and they kind of have all, ways to be able to keep that going. But for an entrepreneur business, it's a little different than, from a big corporation down level. If you've not read the book Traction, I would highly recommend you read that book. That really kind of will help the business that has a lot less employees than like hundreds and hundreds, which you're kind of used to, kind of continue that growth path. So I would definitely recommend that. As far as anything else, maybe we can talk offline about some of the things that I might recommend for you. But one thing I would definitely recommend as far as selling the platform is to get on other people's podcasts. There's a lot of podcasts out there that if you can get those bookings, you'll have a big audience to be able to at least show your platform. And again, my experience, and I didn't even realize this was only 90 days old. The platform seems a little bit stronger than that, and it seems like it's been out a little bit longer than that, and the response time has been a little bit better than what I would have expected for a 90-day platform. So hopefully that helps you as well.
Let me clarify that a little bit. Business has been performing without the website for 2.5 years. So
I gotcha. Okay.
So we've built all the foundation and the framework, including the lender network, including all the controls, built the back office staff to help support the clientele. It's just the website itself, which facilitates contact with folks. So again, now we're able to do something in an automated fashion that we had to do manually previously.
Yeah, and not only that, it is making it a lot easier for the consumer. So it really does make it easy for people to get in touch with you, and it makes it easy for you to be able to get new leads in. You got to be able to put fuel on that fire and promote that out there to people. So I definitely understand your last struggle of actually just promoting, and because a lot of times, a lot of us, myself included, I have a very hard time promoting myself. I would much rather somebody else tell you how awesome Good Success is rather than me tell you how awesome Good Success is. I have a really hard time doing that. I believe in it. I don't have any problems there. I believe that we are doing the right thing and we are growing slower than what I'd prefer, but I do want to make sure I have the right people in the groups and I'm doing the right thing for people. So really appreciate that. A couple more questions before we go. So you've just met me, so it hasn't been super long since you've known me or since you've even heard about Good Success. But when you hear that term Good Success, what does that mean to you? Again, it means a lot to me. It means a lot to our network. But for you, what does Good Success mean to you?
Good success really means doing it the right way and doing right every day for clients, for our lenders. I think it's a measure of integrity and making sure that your business is the best you can without reproach. So there's many times where will come up process and we'll make the call, what, this is something we should have known about or something that came up. We're going to make it right by the customer and whatever that means. I think we pride ourselves in that and pride ourselves in the fact that we're not in a situation we ever will take a fee up front from people. We don't really want to be lumped in with those folks that will take a fee and not perform. So from our standpoint, before closing, most of our lenders, the appraisal is all the client will ever pay for, because we don't want to be lumped into that particular group, because there are deals that fall out. Taking a fee and a deal falls out, it's very easy to get bad reputation for taking people's money and not. So we're invested in these deals just like the investor is, in that if it doesn't close, we don't get paid. Or if we can't find a deal that our clients like, it doesn't cost them a thing. So again, I think the overall integrity of the business and it's with you in our hiring practices as well. We look for high character people as part of our team that are like-minded and are going to do right by the client every day.
Awesome. So love that. So again, we ask every single person that comes on the show, what does good success mean to you? And thank you for answering that. I appreciate that so much. But finally, one more last question. And again, we ask everybody that comes on the podcast this question. So all I want you to do is leave the audience with one thing. So one thing and one thing only, but just leave the audience with a quote, maybe a piece of advice, maybe just a quick story and kind of like the lesson behind it, or maybe a book or something that you've learned. But if you just had to give our audience one piece of advice, what would that be?
That's That's a great question. You know, I think the answer is take time, you know, every morning to think about your day, to think about what you're doing, you know, to thank the people around you that what they're doing. You know, one of the things I do early before everybody else, I walk around the office and actually say a little prayer for our business and for the people that are in our organization. And you know, they don't know I do it, but you know, I just believe that you know, those sorts of things, you know, really do help. Really do help in build your organization, and you know, maybe everything works out right. Maybe get a little favor from God above.
That's awesome. I love that. So every day, take a little bit of a time, be thankful for the people that you're thankful for, and then maybe as an owner, go around your business and just try to pray for the people that are going to be coming in for that business. I think that's awesome advice, and I don't think that there is much better advice than that. And I'll give you a little testimony to that. In our own business, we started a Monday morning prayer meeting for anybody who wanted to be a part of it. In our business. And this morning, I think we had 12 people actually show up to it. And so from 8:30 to 9 o'clock every Monday morning, we actually go through, we listen to the people and what their prayer requests are, what their praises are, what the answers or prayers were for the last week. And we actually have a prayer meeting. And I can tell you, since we started that about 10 months ago, our business has completely changed. The whole spirit of the business has changed. And it's also been an amazing blessing to see God work over and over and over and over again. And if that's not what good success, I don't know what good success is to see God bless and to trust him in everything that you're doing, and to know that at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what we do. It's about like, how are we trusting God and how close is our relationship with him? So that's a great way to end this podcast. Thank you so much, Damon, for being on. I really appreciate your time. I'm not sure if we've gone over or not here, but we've definitely appreciate your time and for your helping people with your product. If somebody wanted to get in touch with you, is the website the best way, or is there another phone number, or do you guys have an event coming up, or how else can, and it almost seems like you have two different clients here as well. So if you're a lender, you might want to get on this platform as well, or if you're an actual borrower. So either way, can you just tell us how would our audience get in touch with you if they wanted to get in touch with you?
Sure. There's a number of ways to do that. You can go out to the website, which is Loan Bids, and that's BIDZ.com, loan.com.
So Loan Bids, LOANBIDZ.com.
DZ.com.
Okay.
And on there you can join as a borrower or as a lender, set up a profile, and get a custom dashboard set up with just your deals. You can also call our offices at 636-552-4710. That's where our account executives line, and they can pick that up. Or you can send me an email to Damon, DAMON, at IPLoanExchange.com. So that's IP, which stands for Investment Loan Exchange.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, Damon, for all that. I do appreciate your time, and I appreciate you being on today's show. So that's going to do it for today's episode. I really hope that you guys have enjoyed Damon, and you guys have enjoyed his product that is a little bit unique in the market today. And I love when people bring unique new products that can help a lot of different people, and he's created a network. For me, I think your network is your net worth, but it's also your survival plan. And if the more broader network that you have, and like I said, I think you need to have those private lenders that are one-on-one people, but you also need to have this long-term money sitting in place. And then you also probably should be able to have regular bank, local lender type money as well. So I hope that helps you today. Remember, if you have not subscribed to the Good Success Podcast, go on, press subscribe to our YouTube channel, to our podcast, to wherever you're watching us. You can find us on the app. So on the App Store, Apple App Store, or on the Android App Store for the Good Success Podcast. And we hope that we can help you every single day. And we are a group of entrepreneurs that want to live life on purpose for a purpose. And every single day, I want to be thankful. I want to thank my God. I want to thank all the listeners out there for everything that you guys have done for us. We appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much. So that's going to do it for today's episode. Remember to be a conduit, not a bucket. Work to have to give. And we'll see you on the next one.
Hey guys, this is David Richter with Simple CFO Solutions. In 3 weeks, I hope to see you at the Good Success Mastermind and the Know Your Numbers Bootcamp. I'm really privileged to be there and to be able to speak, so I hope you guys can come out. There's been a recent push to know your numbers and to focus on that net profit, which has me really excited because a lot of people get stuck in that daily grind. You're out there doing deals, you're making money, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, creating those systems and processes, but at the end of the day, do you really know if you're profitable or not? Do you really have the money that you need in order to grow your business? And that's why I'm really excited to come to this mastermind and speak, because I'm very passionate about bringing clarity to your numbers, systematizing your profit, and making sure you can make and keep more profit in your bank account. So that's why I'm very excited to come out there. There's going to be a lot of great speakers. If you don't come, you're going to be missing out on a lot of good information. So please come out November 12th through 15th in 3 weeks. You can register below it at the link, and I really hope to see you there.
Hey guys, Tom Olson here from the Good Success Mastermind, and I want to talk to you today about a special event that we have coming up, the Wednesday of the Mastermind. So November 13th, 2019, some of the members from our mastermind community have already gotten together. People like Jeff Johnson and Greg Bond, myself, Max Keller, and Alan Gross have gotten together, and we have worked diligently to try to put together Make Your Day Wednesday. So we will be giving 4 different groups from our mastermind community $1,000 each, and they're going to go out into the community, and they're going to make somebody's day. We've already worked really hard with people like Brianne from Community Love in Crown Point, and Pastor Brooks out of Beginnings Church in Chicago, and others to reach out to the community. You are not going to want to miss this exciting opportunity to join a community of go-givers to go out into the community and bring good success to other people. If you want to be a part of a community of go-givers and you want to join us with this special event, just click on the link below, fill out your application. We hope that you will join us in Maryville, Indiana, Tuesday through Friday, November 12th through the 15th at the Good Success Mastermind. Remember to live life on purpose, work to have to give.